beneath the blazing golden sun that stretched endlessly across the vast savannah. A world teeming with life unfolded beneath the sprawling canopy of the acacia trees. The wide expanse of grassland shimmered in hues of green and gold, waving gently in the warm breeze, as if whispering ancient secrets to the creatures who called this place home. This was no ordinary land. It was a realm where nature's raw beauty and unyielding struggle intertwined, shaping the lives of all who dwelled within. In this sprawling wilderness, the story begins with a young lion cub named Kito. His fur was a soft, tawny gold that seemed to glow in the sunlight, and his eyes sparkled with uncontainable curiosity. Kito was unlike any other cub in his pride. His spirit was restless, eager to explore the world beyond the safe borders of his family. While his brothers and sisters often played close to their mothers or practiced the art of stalking and hunting under watchful eyes, Kito ventured farther, drawn by the mysteries hidden within the tall grasses and the shadows cast by the great acacia trees. Kito's playful antics carried him through the fields, where the air was alive with the buzzing of insects and the rustling of leaves. Each step he took was an adventure, a new scent to sniff, a flickering movement to chase, a strange sound to investigate. The cub's innocence and energy painted a vibrant contrast to the harsh realities of the savannah, where survival was a daily battle and every creature had a role in the delicate balance of life. But beneath the waving grasses, concealed by nature's perfect camouflage, lurked a silent predator, Naja, the enormous python. Naja's scales glimmered with mottled shades of green and brown, blending seamlessly into the foliage. Her eyes, cold and calculating, scanned the terrain with a patient vigilance. She was a master of stealth, waiting motionless for the perfect moment to strike. In the world of the savannah, Naja was both feared and respected, a reminder of the unpredictable dangers hidden beneath the beauty of the landscape. Naja's life was one of quiet patience. She moved slowly and deliberately, her powerful body coiling through the undergrowth, ready to ambush any careless creature that ventured too close. For her, the vast savannah was not just a home but a hunting ground, where every rustle in the grass could signal the chance for a meal, or a deadly encounter. Amid these two contrasting forces, the youthful exuberance of Kito and the silent menace of Naja, there was another solitary figure living near the edge of the acacia forest. Bakery, the silverback gorilla, was a creature of immense strength and quiet dignity. His massive frame was covered in thick fur streaked with silver, marking him as a leader among his kind. Yet, despite his power, Bakery lived a life of solitude, wandering the dense woods alone rather than with a troop. Bakery's solitude was not born of choice but circumstance. His strength made him a formidable presence in the forest, but it also isolated him. Other animals, and even his own kind, often kept their distance, wary of the raw power he wielded. Yet, within his solitary existence beat a heart that longed for connection, a mind that sought to understand the world beyond his guarded territory. His deep knowledge of the forest and its rhythms made him a silent guardian of the acacia woodlands. watching over the land with a cautious yet protective eye. As Kito bounded through the grasslands, unaware of the dangers lurking nearby, Naja coiled silently beneath the tall grasses, ready to strike. Meanwhile, Bakery observed from the shadows of the forest edge, sensing the disturbance that the young lion cub's adventurous spirit brought to the delicate balance of the savannah. The vast savannah, with its golden grasses and towering acacia trees, was a land of contrasts, life and death, innocence and danger, solitude and community. It was a place where the paths of Kito, Naja, and Bakery would inevitably cross, weaving a tale of survival, courage, and the unbreakable bonds that tie all creatures to the wild earth they call home. As the sun climbed higher, casting long shadows across the land, Kito's journey was just beginning. His playful steps would soon lead him into the heart of the unknown, where every rustle and shadow held a story waiting to be discovered. Naja's watchful eyes would follow, a constant reminder of the ever-present threat beneath the surface. And Bakery, with his silent strength, stood ready to step out of the shadows and into the unfolding story, shaping the fate of all who lived beneath the endless sky of the acacia savannah. Would Kito's innocence be enough to shield him from the dangers ahead? Could Naja's patience and power dominate the wild? And would Bakery's strength and solitude find a purpose greater than himself? The answers lay hidden within the golden grasses and the deep green shadows, waiting for the story to unfold beneath the unyielding sun. The golden savannah shimmered under the afternoon sun, and Kito, the young lion cub, was lost in his own world of wonder and excitement. The endless grasses swayed gently in the breeze as he darted between patches of sunlight and shadow, chasing butterflies and pouncing on the occasional rustle of leaves. His small paws barely made a sound on the soft earth, but his laughter rang out like a melody across the plains. Unbeknownst to Kito, just beneath the tall blades of grass, Naja, the massive python, lay coiled and still, eyes fixed intently on the unsuspecting cub. The python's body was a living tapestry of mottled green and brown, perfectly blending with the surroundings, and her movements were slow, calculated, and silent. For days, she had observed the cub's explorations from the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. That moment came suddenly, as Kito crouched low, preparing to leap toward a colorful dragonfly. A flicker of movement caught his eye in the grass nearby. Before he could react, a massive coil whipped out from the undergrowth and wrapped tightly around his small body. Panic surged through Kito as the powerful muscles constricted, squeezing him with terrifying force. His claws scrabbled at the thick scales encircling him, but the grip only tightened, cutting off his movements. A desperate, frightened cry tore from Kito's throat, echoing across the savannah. Farther away, in the safety of the pride's den, Simba and Lena, Kito's parents, perked up at the sharp sound of their son's distress. The pride was peaceful, the adults resting under the shade of an acacia tree. But the piercing call shattered the calm. Simba's ears twitched as he scanned the horizon, his heart pounding. Lena's eyes widened in alarm, and without hesitation, they both rose, their powerful muscles tense and ready to spring into action. "We have to help him," Lena said, her voice trembling with worry. Simba nodded, eyes fierce with determination. "But we have to be careful. Naja is dangerous. One wrong move and Kito could be hurt even more." Together, they began moving cautiously toward the source of the cry. Every step measured and quiet. The tall grasses rustled gently around them, hiding the lurking danger. Simba and Lena knew they couldn't rush in blindly. Naja, the python, was a master of ambush and strength. Attacking her outright might provoke a deadly response. As they drew closer, they caught sight of the coils wrapped tightly around Kito, the cub struggling against the crushing embrace. Naja's head rose slowly, flicking her tongue in and out as she sensed the presence of the lion adults. Her eyes gleamed cold and unyielding, warning them to keep their distance. Simba growled low in his throat, muscles flexing as he weighed their options. Lena stayed close, her gaze fixed on her son, who was now weakening under the python's grip. Time was running out, but the danger was great. "We need to distract her," Simba whispered, "to give Kito a chance to break free." Lena nodded. "I'll try to draw her away. You get Kito." With a fierce roar, Lena stepped forward, trying to lure Naja's attention away from the cub. The python hissed, tightening her coils as Lena cautiously moved closer, her eyes never leaving Kito's struggling form. Simba edged toward his son, searching for any sign of weakness in the python's hold. The tension in the air was thick, every second stretching endlessly as mother and father worked together in silent coordination. Kito, gasping for breath, summoned the last of his strength to claw at the snake's scales. His small body trembled, but his spirit refused to give in. Suddenly, Naja lashed out toward Lena, her powerful head striking with lightning speed. Lena dodged just in time, retreating behind Simba, who now roared in challenge. The massive lion's presence was imposing, but the python remained relentless. Simba lunged forward, swiping with his massive paws at Naja's coils. The snake hissed in anger, tightening her grip once more around Kito, who whimpered softly. Simba's claws raked against the thick scales, but it was not enough to loosen the python's hold. Realizing brute force alone would not save his son, Simba paused, searching for another way. Just then, from the edge of the acacia forest, a deep, resonant sound echoed through the savannah, a low rumble that shook the ground. Bakery, the silverback gorilla, had sensed the danger from afar. His powerful form burst through the undergrowth, moving swiftly toward the scene. Simba and Lena barely had time to react before Bakery appeared, towering over them with an imposing presence. His eyes, filled with quiet determination, locked onto Naja, sending a clear message. This struggle was not one to be taken lightly. The python hesitated, momentarily distracted by the sudden arrival of this new force. It was enough for Simba to redouble his efforts, clawing at the coils around Kito with renewed vigor. Bakery stepped forward with a mighty roar, pounding his chest and making himself appear as large and threatening as possible. Naja's eyes flicked between the powerful gorilla and the angry lions. assessing her chances. But Naja was cunning and patient. With a final hiss, she began to slowly unwind her coils around Kito. Sensing that the element of surprise was lost, Kito, gasping for air but relieved, collapsed weakly into Simba's protective embrace. The danger had passed, but the savannah was still thick with tension. Simba and Lena glanced at Bakery with gratitude, understanding that without his unexpected arrival, the outcome might have been very different. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the golden grasses, the family retreated to the safety of their den, with Bakery following quietly behind. The wild had tested them fiercely that day, reminding them all of the delicate balance between life and death in this untamed land. Kito, though shaken, was alive, his curiosity and courage tempered by the harsh lessons of the savannah. Naja, the python, slipped back into the shadows, waiting for the next moment to reclaim her place in the endless cycle of survival. And Bakery, the solitary guardian of the forest's edge, remained vigilant, a silent protector in a world where danger could strike at any moment. The story of Kito's brush with death would be remembered, not just as a tale of peril, but as a testament to the strength of family, the power of courage, and the unbreakable bonds that hold the wild together. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long, golden shadows across the vast expanse of the savannah. The air was thick with tension, the usual peaceful hum of nature replaced by a chilling silence broken only by the desperate cries of a young lion cub. Kito's screams pierced through the quiet afternoon like a sharp blade, carrying over the rolling grasses and into the dense acacia forest that bordered the open plains. Deep within the cool shade of the acacia trees, Bakery, the mighty silverback gorilla, heard the distress calls. His sharp ears twitched as the anguished cries echoed through the leaves. Though he had lived a solitary life, away from the prides of lions and the hunts of predators, his instincts compelled him to move toward the source of the sound. Without hesitation, Bakery rose to his full towering height, the silver streak along his back gleaming even in the dim light beneath the canopy. Silent and powerful, Bakery pushed through the undergrowth, his massive arms parting branches and leaves with effortless strength. Every step was deliberate, his heavy footfalls muffled by the thick layer of fallen leaves and soft earth. His keen eyes scanned the horizon beyond the trees, tracking the fading echoes of Kito's cries. He moved with a purpose born of both curiosity and a deep, unspoken responsibility to the land he guarded. Meanwhile, in the heart of the golden grassland, the situation grew dire. The enormous python, Naja, had wrapped her thick coils around Kito, squeezing the young cub mercilessly. Kito's small body struggled against the crushing grip, but the python's strength was overwhelming. His cries grew weaker, desperation seeping into every breath. Kito's parents, Simba and Lena, circled anxiously at the edge of the clearing, unable to approach too closely for fear of provoking the python into tightening her deadly grasp. Simba's deep growls rumbled with frustration, his golden mane shining like fire in the waning sunlight. Lena's eyes darted nervously between the snake and her son, her heart pounding with fear. Just when it seemed hope was fading, the earth seemed to tremble beneath a new presence. From the shadows of the acacia forest emerged Bakery, the unexpected hero. His massive frame cast a long shadow as he strode confidently toward the struggling cub and the deadly python. The sheer force of his presence commanded the attention of all creatures nearby. Turning heads and halting breaths, Simba and Lena stepped back, awe and relief mingling on their faces as they witnessed the arrival of this powerful ally. Without hesitation, Bakery charged forward, his enormous hands reaching out with astonishing speed and strength. The python hissed, tightening her grip instinctively, sensing a new threat. But Bakery was relentless. He wrapped his huge arms around Naja's thick coils, gripping tightly with muscles honed by years of survival in the forest. A fierce struggle erupted beneath the acacia trees and golden grasses. Naja writhed and hissed, twisting her massive body in an attempt to escape. But Bakery's power was unmatched. With every ounce of strength, he pulled and twisted, working to loosen the deadly grip around Kito. The cub, gasping for air but now buoyed by hope, watched as the struggle unfolded. After several intense moments, the python's hold finally weakened. With a frustrated hiss and a final thrash of her massive body, Naja released Kito, slithering quickly away into the cover of the tall grass. The threat had fled, defeated by the overwhelming strength of Bakery. Simba moved swiftly to his son's side, nuzzling him gently and checking for injuries. Lena joined them, tears of relief streaming down her face. Kito, though exhausted and shaken, was safe. Bakery stood nearby, his chest heaving with exertion but his eyes calm and steady. Despite his fierce appearance, there was a quiet kindness in his gaze as he watched over the reunited family. The unexpected hero had come from the shadows, bringing salvation in the form of sheer strength and silent courage. The savannah breathed a collective sigh of relief as peace returned once more beneath the endless sky and swaying acacia trees. Kito's adventure had taken a dangerous turn. But thanks to Bakery's timely intervention, the cub's spirit remained unbroken. The story of that day would be told and retold in whispers and roars alike, of a young lion's courage, a python's deadly ambush, and a solitary silverback's heroic rescue. In the wild heart of the acacia savannah, bonds were forged not only by blood but by bravery, strength, and unexpected friendship. The golden light of the late afternoon bathed the savannah in a warm, almost sacred glow. The tall grasses swayed gently, as if in quiet applause to the events that had just unfolded. At the center of the clearing, beneath the broad shade of an ancient acacia tree, the atmosphere was thick with a mix of relief, respect, and something deeper, an unspoken bond that had just been forged between beings from very different worlds. Simba and Lena stood side by side, their powerful forms silhouetted against the sunlit plains. Their eyes, usually fierce and commanding, now held a look of profound astonishment and gratitude as they regarded Bakery, the towering silverback gorilla who had just saved their beloved son. It was a rare moment of humility for the mighty Lion King and Queen, an acknowledgement that even the strongest could be vulnerable. And sometimes, salvation came from the most unexpected places. Bakery, standing tall and steady, met their gaze with a calmness that radiated quiet strength. His massive chest rose and fell slowly, the exertion of the rescue still evident. But his posture spoke of patience and gentle power rather than dominance. In that instant, the savannah seemed to hold its breath, as if nature itself recognized the importance of this meeting. Simba's voice, deep and resonant, finally broke the silence. "We owe you more than words can say. Bakery, without you, our son might not have survived." Lena nodded, stepping forward slightly, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "You came when we were powerless. For that, we thank you, from the depths of our hearts." The lion's expressions softened, their usual wariness toward outsiders replaced by genuine respect. Instead of reacting with suspicion or aggression, they stood firm but non-threatening, creating a protective circle around Kito. It was a silent promise that they would not challenge Bakery's presence here. Nor would they allow anyone to harm the one who had saved their cub. Kito, still weak but slowly regaining strength, looked up at Bakery with wide, bright eyes filled with admiration and gratitude. The cub's usual playful curiosity was replaced by a new sense of understanding, a recognition that Bakery was not just a stranger, but a guardian, a protector who had reached across the boundaries of species to save him. Slowly, Kito stepped toward Bakery, his small paws barely making a sound on the soft earth. He hesitated for a moment, then pressed a gentle head nuzzle against the great silverback's massive hand. It was a simple gesture, but in the language of the wild, it spoke volumes, a silent bond of trust, respect, and thanks. Bakery lowered his massive head to meet the cub's, his eyes softening as if acknowledging the unspoken connection between them, despite the vast difference in size and strength. In that moment, they were equals, two souls linked by courage and compassion. Simba watched the exchange closely, a slow smile spreading across his face. "You have our respect, Bakery. You are welcome here among us." Lena's voice was gentle but firm. "The savannah is vast, and we all have our roles. Today, yours was to be a hero. Know that you will always have a place with our family." The other lions in the pride, sensing the change in their leader's demeanor, relaxed as well. The tension that had gripped the clearing began to ease, replaced by a quiet harmony that stretched from the golden grasses to the distant acacia trees. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the land, a new chapter began for Kito and Bakery, one marked by friendship, mutual respect, and the knowledge that even in a world as wild and unpredictable as the savannah, connection could be found where least expected. The family slowly moved back toward the safety of their den, Kito walking proudly between Simba and Lena, with Bakery following at a respectful distance. The echoes of the day's drama lingered in the air, but so did the promise of hope and unity. In the heart of the acacia savannah, beneath the endless sky, a lion cub, a silverback gorilla, and their families had discovered something rare and precious, a reminder that strength was not just in power, but in kindness, courage, and the bonds that tie all living beings together. As the sun dipped beyond the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, the savannah settled into a calm hush. The golden grasses swayed softly under the evening breeze, and the ancient acacia trees stood tall as silent sentinels watching over the land. It was here, in this vast and untamed wilderness, that the story of Bakery and Kito found its quiet conclusion, a tale woven with courage, friendship, and an enduring spirit that would inspire generations to come. After the dramatic rescue and the heartfelt moments shared between Bakery and the lion family, the mighty silverback gorilla slowly turned back toward the dense forest of acacia trees. Though he had stepped into the open plains to protect a young life, Bakery's heart belonged to the shadows and shelter of the woods. With each powerful stride, he disappeared beneath the leafy canopy, becoming once again the silent guardian of the wild grasslands. Bakery's role as the protector of the savannah's edge became well known, not through boastful roars or fierce battles, but through his quiet vigilance and unwavering strength. The animals of the plains and forest alike came to understand that this solitary giant was watching over them, a guardian unseen but deeply felt. His presence was a reminder that even the most solitary creatures could be heroes, and that bravery often meant standing firm in the face of danger without seeking glory. Meanwhile, the story of Bakery's rescue of young Kito spread across the savannah like wildfire. Around campfires beneath star-studded skies, elders recounted the tale to eager listeners, how a mighty gorilla had defied the boundaries between species to save a small lion cub from certain death. This story became a beacon of hope and inspiration for the keepers of nature, reminding them that courage and kindness knew no limits. In villages near the wildlands, conservationists and rangers who dedicated their lives to protecting the delicate balance of the ecosystem found renewed motivation in Bakery and Kito's tale. It was a story that transcended mere survival, a lesson in the power of compassion, the strength found in unlikely friendships, and the importance of protecting every creature, no matter how different. At the heart of this story was a powerful message that courage is not just about physical strength, but about facing fear with a willing heart, that true friendship can cross the deepest divides, and that compassion and understanding have the power to unite even the most disparate lives. Kito, now strong and healthy, played joyfully beneath the warm African sun, his golden fur shining as brightly as the day he was born. He bounded through the grasses with his pride, laughter and roars filling the air. But within his heart, he carried the memory of Bakery's strength and kindness, a bond that went beyond words, a friendship that had changed his life forever. As Kito chased butterflies and rolled in the soft earth, the world around him hummed with the vibrant life of the savannah, the dance of predator and prey, the whisper of the wind, and the steady pulse of the earth beneath his paws. It was a world full of challenges and dangers, but also one rich with beauty, connection, and hope. The story of Bakery and Kito was not just a tale of survival, but a celebration of life's greatest virtues. It reminded all who heard it that courage could be found in the most unexpected places. That friendship could bridge any divide. And that kindness was a force as mighty as the strongest claws or the fiercest roar. Under the warm, golden light of the setting sun, with the acacia trees standing tall against the sky, Kito played freely and joyfully with his family, safe, loved, and surrounded by the endless promise of the wild. And somewhere deep in the forest, Bakery watched silently, a guardian in the shadows, forever a part of the vast, beautiful tapestry of the savannah.
Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please comment 1. And if you didn't, just hit like. See you in the next videos.